We're really excited to be bringing some of the best innovators from all kinds of different business sectors to share their knowledge and insights on innovation with you and other people across the built environment sector, those who want to drive change through their company and beyond. So enjoy this short taster, then take positive action.
The big thing for me is balancing the delivery demands that are being placed on them in respect of their individual organisation, the targets, the milestones that are in front of them, in a context that is rapidly evolving and some sort of big global headwinds. And that's going to be a really difficult environment to operate in, but also present lots of opportunities. And I think the trick there is going to be working with and attracting a diverse group of talent to support them in doing that and leading them through it. In my responsibility as Director of Industrial Strategy, what I'm trying to achieve is a more productive economy across the whole of the UK, and driving up the innovation within our economy is clearly part of that. And then I suppose at a sort of smaller level, what it means is drawing in the widest possible thought, collaborating with others internally and externally within an organisation to just improve the way that we're doing things. I really believe in the value of sectors working together to solve some of the grand challenges facing society. And what I can bring to that conversation is a perspective from central government. I work very closely with industry in my current role at BEIS, but also previously in MHCLG with the construction industry. And I really value that partnership working. I think we've got a lot to learn from each other. The value of bringing different roles and different companies, representatives together, obviously, is that we will all bring a different perspective to a particular problem. That sounds a bit trite, and actually what I've found is a commonality of the problems that we're all facing. So although we'll have a different perspective, all the participants will have a different perspective, the nub of the issue will be very similar, and so we can bring our common thinking to bear on the issues facing us. I'm going to talk about an example from my own career, which is as a policymaker in government. And the time that I felt freest to innovate was when I was working on a big independent review. And although we were working closely with government, we had more freedom to think really sort of holistically about the problems that we were looking at in a way that you sometimes feel constrained when you're working within a big organisation like government. And it was very liberating, and what I've tried to do since actually is to take that sort of no holds barred mentality out into the day job, so that even if we're not actually able to see through everything we've thought about, we've got that sort of creative energy and curiosity to draw on. So there are so many examples of where there's been a good intention to innovate, but it hasn't been seen through in practice. There are lots of examples of government policy that have had a sort of tricky ride initially. The one that springs to mind immediately is around the apprenticeship levy. It'll be familiar to lots of people in the construction sector. And I would like to think that we listen to the reaction that it's getting on the ground and make changes accordingly. I don't think we're quite there yet, but it's an example of sort of good intentions, but is it actually delivering what we wanted it to do? What excites me about the IFLP, again, I have a sort of professional interest in this and a personal interest. The professional one comes from when I was working at MHCLG, the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, working with the construction industry, the house building industry. I worked with lots of companies who were thinking about the potential of off-site construction, and the challenge really was what's the right level of collaboration to drive the innovation that A, industry wants to see, but B, government wants to see in terms of its house building ambitions and its desire for productive growth across the country. But then personally, I've said it earlier, but I just think that this sort of cross-sectoral learning is extremely valuable. we've got more in common than divides us. So if you're weighing up whether to participate in this programme, I would absolutely say do it. Just taking that step back from the day job, learning from your peers in a safe environment, and then taking that back into the workplace is good for your business, but it's also good for you personally and the satisfaction that you'll get from your job.